And good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from wherever you are watching. Welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting for the XSLR Season number 9, Round number 6 here of our current season in the Lucas Oil Pro Trucks for Series number 2. I'm Adam Thompson. With me is Joshua Wilkie, who will be on the commentary as well and controlling the lovely production here tonight. Tonight we are at Bart River International Raceway, which they call a short track, but this is anything but short. It is a long track. It's 1.3 miles in length, and compared to last week, it's got a lot wider corners, but that doesn't mean we'll not see some of the same things we saw last week at Wild West Motorsport Park. Josh, this is going to be an interesting race because it is a lot longer. It's a bigger track for guys to kind of get around on, but I expect some of the same what we saw last week.
Yeah, I think so for sure. This is definitely a different track, no doubt. The other one almost feels like a bit of an arena, like a little bit bigger than an arena track, and this one is definitely a big outdoor track. It's wide. There's a ton of lines. There are some full out, flat out blasts through here. You're doing, just massive jumps, like full tilt as fast as you can go, and there's some pretty cool left-right corners as well that you're just flat through. So we're going to see some pretty awesome racing around here as we see Jake Ham just kind of take into the air there. There are a bunch of cool corners just like that one there. You kind of lose grip for a little bit, and then you can kind of gravitron yourself back into grip and just step on it, and they're going to have a lot of fun out here tonight. I'm kind of jealous.
We are in qualifying. Jason Green, the fastest car out there, a 114.442. Chad Gross in second with a 114.7, and Jake Ham in third with a 115.234. Derek Volk in the fourth spot with a 115.748. Michelle Lynn rounds out the top five with a 116.446. Now, just so we go through this one more time for those of you who are just joining us. Pro 4 trucks, it's a lot like Whose Line Is It Anywhere? The points don't matter or the line doesn't matter. Just a matter of getting through the corner as quickly as you can. Yes, you can take that inside line, but that may not be the fastest. Some corners you're going to want to be on that outside line. Like this one, for example, you want to preload the truck on the outside so that way when you jump, you're going right. You can hit that apex right at the jumping point. Last week we saw a lot of carnage in these trucks. But again, we are at Wild West Motorsports Park, which is very, very narrow, very tiny, hard to get around other people and hard to pass. This track, as Jason Greider sideways. Oof. That was a Code Brown moment there, but I think that was the end of his lap anyway. Andy Kosick, who came in second last week, going around here. We only have 12 drivers out here tonight. Our first place finisher, Adam Thompson, is not here. He is off having his little girl. Him and Sarah are tonight, so we wish them well and can't wait to hear the good news. Hopefully here in the next couple of hours is what I'm being told. So
of course, hopefully good news coming our way soon here.
But if we know anything about Adam, he is definitely watching and giving a lot of meows in the hospital right now. So we hope he's doing well. I haven't heard a
meow yet, but I would imagine, you never know. You never know. He might jump in there. We'll be keeping an eye on the chat there, too, see if we have any more updates with stuff like that. But, yeah, some good stuff you're mentioning there as well. This is, pretty flat out. We're seeing kind of going over here, having to kind of preload the truck, like you said. You can get that wrong if you don't preload the truck just right as you're leaving the lip there, or let's say somebody gives you a little tap right as you're leaving the right as you're leaving the lip of the jump, you're going to be super sideways, and there's nothing you can do about it when all wheels are off the ground. So something you really got to think about out there is just exactly how you're setting yourself up for these jumps. If there's a corner afterwards, just like that, you can see kind of didn't preload it quite right there, didn't get the corner right, trying to set back up for this one.
And here's the tough part is, especially on this kind of course, is that the start finish where you start the race is not actually at the start finish line. You're actually got to drive through an entire field before you actually see the track. So that will throw some drivers off, I think, tonight, not knowing kind of how these start procedures go.
The land rush start, we saw, very cool.
Yeah, it's a land rush start, and I love them. It's really fun.
Very cool, yeah.
But if you're not used to it, you're going to get caught off guard.
Yeah, I remember my first time.
Yeah, it's very different here. I remember the first time I actually raced at Bark River. I was so confused on why I was starting in the grass and not on the grass.
You don't know where to go, right? There's like, do I go right? Do I go left? I remember that, I think. Yeah, and you're kind of trying to peer over the front of this thing, too. You can't see too great out of this if you haven't set it up great. And yeah, you're right. That might catch a couple people out if they haven't tried that out yet.
Yep, and luckily, my rule of thumb was just follow the car in front of you. So, and that's exactly what I did. So, Jake Ham currently sitting third fastest with a 1:15.234. We're getting towards that tail end of qualifying here. And it's not just a 10-minute qualifying session, it's also 2 laps. So once people have run their 2 laps, at this point, I would say Jake Ham is just running some just practice laps, just trying to figure out what line is going to work. And, compared to what we were in the 410 wing sprint car, where the rubber gets laid down, it gets slick, the conditions are going to change. This doesn't change all too much, just because the length of the track, the way that the corners work, you're not going to get that rubber in dirt that makes it slick. It's already slick enough out there. So you gotta, these guys are having to really change gears from going around an oval to a road course where it's going to be much more difficult. And definitely these trucks, they got a lot of horsepower in them. They take off, but it's a matter of how can you get through the corner. As we watch Jake Ham's on board here again, this jump is going to catch a lot of people out, and he didn't take that nearly as hard as he could have. But you can see these guys really jumping around though. And some of these jumps are really sketchy because if you're familiar with rallycross or just rally racing in general, like the WRC, the World Rally Championship, there may be a jump and then you immediately, and then it's not just like preloading and getting into the corner. It's a jump. You have a little bit of drive time, and then you got to set yourself up for the corner. And in it's just a small amount of straight you have to preload the other side of the car potentially to get around a corner and get ready for a corner. So we're going to see some guys, I think, really struggle with some of that, just because this is a highly technical track. And it's wide. You can run out wide a lot more. There's not nearly as many walls. So you won't, I don't think we'll see any guys get stuck on a wall tonight, but it's just going to be a matter of how they go through some of these corners. We're watching again, J-Cam, and that's what I'm talking about. You've got a couple of jumps, and then you got to set yourself up for a corner immediately after.
Pretty smooth through that section for Jake there. That was a pretty good example of it right there, actually, where you're just having to change the weight transfer of the truck. And like you're saying, sometimes you only have 50 feet in a little box to get that done, and you have to get that weight transfer right. And if you don't, you just kind of push through the corner, don't get the line right. Or worse, maybe you end up on a fence or something. But looks like we're about to get our first heat gridded up.
Yep, first heat race of 2 here. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. On the front row, the fastest guy on the track was the 160 of Jason Green, Jake Cam. In second, Andy Kosick, Ethan Orr, Brian Stasinski, and
well, that was
Jimmy
really
Howlett.
fast.
They were gridded up and ready to go. We are green here for heat race number 1, and no land rush start. This was a start right on the start finish line there. So, but Jason Green takes the immediate race lead with Jake Ham following in second. Andy Kosick, our second place finisher at Wild West Motorsport Park, in that third spot. Top 2 go to the A feature. Everybody else goes to the B main. And this is only 3 laps. That's all right with me. We'll see these races get done pretty quick as we have an onboard looking backwards at Jake Ham. And Jake Ham's really on it. He gets a little bit out of shape through the smaller jumps and gets her settled. But that was going to be that could have been absolutely disastrous. But now Andy Kosick closing in. Jimmy Howlett, he's watching this battle here.
Real close to the fence there.
That was very close for Jimmy Howlett.
For sure.
He has to
There's
be
so many different lines out there
around.
to take. It's a pretty big track, right? It's pretty wide. So like we were mentioning on the run up there's quite a bit of lines out there. And at first during qualifying, it sort of looked like they're piloting around trying to find them. And it definitely looks like now that the race is on, those lines are getting a little bit tighter and a little bit more pointy, especially for Jake Ham and Jason Green here as he cuts that perfectly over the top. That's pretty much how you want to take it. You probably take a little more speed into that, I think you could get away with there from Jake Ham, but that was kind of the line you want to take. And you can see him here just changing up lines, and that's what we were talking about before. You can't follow the same line as the guy in front of you. You just won't be able to pass him.
No, you gotta find that different line. You gotta find the momentum somewhere. And now Jake Ham, he is under a second away from Jason Green. As Kosick now currently 1.8 seconds back. I actually expected a little bit more from him in this heat race, maybe because he was closing the gap. Now it's 2.2 seconds, so he lost 0.2 or 0.4 in just that one corner alone. But that's just dirt road racing right there, is that, you know, you can take a corner just a little bit wide, you can get bogged down in the dirt, and then before you know it, you're already 0.4 away from the car in front of you. But look at Jimmy Howlett. Jimmy Howlett closing the gap now less than a second. And you can see he is almost side by side there with Kosick through this tight technical section. You can't take this through high speed at all. And he actually did a great job navigating that, because now he is on it right now. And you can see he wants to get to Andy Kosick. Goes over one jump here. Now this is going to be the key corner, I would say, to get all that speed back. He doesn't get quite the speed you need off that exit. But now he's really going for it here. Gets the truck sideways. But you have to settle it down there.
Yeah.
That's the one
thing.
Kind of
tripped over himself a little bit, for sure. You got to get it down early there. So it looks like, you know, what's happening there is just rushing and hustling the corner a little bit too much. You need to get actually woed up a little bit more and get on the gas earlier, rather than just hammering the truck into the corner and then worrying about the gas trying to spit it out the other side. And that's kind of what's happening there. That, you know, that one kind of sweeper we keep getting really good shots of is, it's a very difficult corner to set up. You got to get it just right, kind of like I was mentioning. You need to sort of slow up before it, make sure you get that dig towards it, get that line right, and then you can kind of swoop over the top of it and really use the exit to its full extent there, which we haven't really seen maybe anybody except for Jake Cam and Jason Green kind of be able to do so far.
Well, Jason Green is being hounded
into
out.
the wall.
Oh, into the wall goes Jason Green.
Jake Cam.
Oh, he was on a mission there, too. He was very close, and that is the checkered flag. Jason Green wins heat race number 2. Jake Ham in second. Those two will move on to the A feature. Andy Kosick, Jimmy Howitt, Ethan Orr, Brian Stasinski will go to the B feature here tonight and have to just qualify for their A main position. So that's heat race number 1. We'll go through heat race number 2 here quick, because
let's get them up quick. That was fast, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Chad Gross and Derek Fulke, row number 1. Row 2, Michelle Lynn and Jason Greider. Row 3, Kevin Irwin and Joshua Sushi. So that is the rest of the field here tonight, where I think we're just missing one car in the order. Nope, we got everybody here. So start lights are on, and the green flag is out, and we are green here at Bark River in heat race number 2. A good start there by Chad Gross as he goes out to the lead, cuts right in front of Derek Fulke. But this is, again, crucial corners here in this heat race. Gets that truck on the outside edge there, but on his inside it goes. Derek Fulke. Derek Fulke had the lead for just a moment, but just loses it. But now Michelle Lynn kicking her into gear as well, as she is trying to get through as well. Almost gets over the berm. Ends up settling down, but here comes the cheese car of Kevin Irwin. And right now, Sushi is into the pits. Must have flipped the truck somewhere back. Good slider there by Kevin Irwin to take that spot away from Michelle Lynn, pushing Michelle Lynn wide. And Chad and Derek Fulke, he also gets wide and he loses a spot. So a 2-for-1 for Kevin Irwin.
Real loose for Fulke there, lost a couple positions, so you can see just how easy it is, right? Like we were mentioning before, you kind of have a good idea of what your corner is going to look like, how things are going to go, and then somebody comes in, gives you a little tap, and everything changes all of a sudden. You see this one, real nice cut into this kind of technical section here. Always really fun to rip through here. You get it just right. It sort of feels like the car just kind of fits right into those grooves perfectly, and that kind of ground comes up to meet it. Just getting through here. Pretty good line through there for Derek Fulke. We can see Kevin Irwin using all the exit there. That's what she looks like.
Well, Derek Fulke, he definitely did not take the previous jump correctly. He nosed into on the landing, but was able to get a good run through the sweepers, as we would call those. So now you can just see everybody's starting to space out just a little bit. Chad Gross has a 1.1 second lead over Kevin Irwin. Kevin Irwin losing some body parts on that car, but you can just see everybody's just trying to just kind of get up to grip still. I think a lot of these drivers right now not feeling the most comfortable quite yet, but now here comes Kevin Irwin for the race lead. Kevin Irwin leads here in heat race number 2, which would set him up on the front row of the A feature. Gets that handbrake, gets that car kept the car on the inside of the corner right there at the apex, which was exactly the perfect corner for him, because now he's able to drive away. Now Derek Fulke, can he find the speed, because he was right there with Chad Gross? It's not going to happen as we hit the white flag lap one more time around here for Kevin Irwin, who has driven 4 places to potentially win this heat race and start on the front row of the A feature.
Yeah, and we can look at that lap time there, the 1:14.6. He is flying out there, and I think you kind of nailed it. That one corner, he's absolutely just nailed that corner, and he's finding a lot of lap time through that section for sure. We saw just on the last lap there, he was actually, that was a great corner.
Chad Gross getting a little bit close to the wall there, just scraped it, but here they come. The final few corners here at Bark River, and this is where it gets a little close, and it's gonna be Kevin Irwin right now leading the charge here on the final lap, and he finally gets rid of that body part. And maybe that makes the truck a little bit lighter. Who knows? But you can see he is flying through here. Gets a
Oh, into
little
the
bit
wall.
close in person.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh, he did it. he got his side panel back. All right, but Kevin Irwin wins heat race number 2. Chad Gross in second. Those guys will move on into the A feature automatically. Derek Wilkie, Michelle Lynn, Jason Greider, and Josh Sushi will head to the B feature, which is coming up next.
Yeah, not a bad feature there at all. You can kind of tell there's, they're out there trying to find those lines still. I think by the time we get our feature race going here, I think we'll probably have some lines kind of dialed in. But at the moment, it looks like Kevin Irwin kind of class of the field as far as lap time goes. He's found that line out there.
Yeah, he's found the quickest way around. It's just a matter of will it be the same fastest line when we come back to the A feature. B feature time here, and let's go through it quickly. Row number 1, Andy Kostick and Derek Folk. Row 2, Jimmy Howitt, Michelle Lynn. Row 3, Ethan Orr and Jason Greider. Row 4, Brian Stasinski and Joshua Sushi. And that is the lineup here for our B feature. All the drivers will advance to the A main. This is just a matter of where are they going to start. And that is the question of the day. We saw Andy Kostick. He had some good pace, but Derek Folke at one point looked really strong as well. So we got to keep our eyes on those guys. And I would also be careful of that Jimmy Howitt guy. He has been quick. Lights will turn off. Green flag ready, and green. We are away for B feature action here. Good start there by Andy Kostick, cutting off the inside line through the uphill sweeper. Now here comes Derek Folke. He does get the lead. Andy Kostick out of shape. He's got to get it together. No, he's riding the wall. He is riding the wall.
Oh no, the Smith grind over the wall and ball parked it. Unfortunately, that was a terrible start for Andy Kostick there. Just got a bit loose. Kind of the fence just grabbed him, and yeah, like we were mentioning the last race, these things just will climb anything you put in front of them, and the fence was there, so it climbed it.
So now your race leader, Derek Folk, with Jimmy Howitt in second, Michelle Lynn third, Jason Greider in fourth, Joshua Sushi in that fifth spot. That's your top 5. Brian Stasinski and Ethan Orr in 7th. 8th is going to be Kostick, and that's where he will remain because there's no way he's going to gain that lap back that he is going to lose sitting in the pits. And he was on the pole. That is the most unfortunate thing to happen to you as a race car driver, is that you're on the pole and then you bin it within the first 3 corners. Oh, yeah, Jason
absolutely.
Greider.
Getting pretty loose there, Michelle Lynn. Actually, I thought she was going to loop it, but it actually worked out for her. She got her, the rear end got so sideways there that I thought she was actually going to loop it, but nope, it was actually pointed the right direction. And man, sometimes that's what these trucks do. You literally back them into the corner sometimes, and that's the fastest way to do it.
Keeping our eyes on the battle between Greider and Michelle Lynn. Michelle Lynn just as fast enough just to stay in front of Jason Greider, but it's just a matter, can she keep up that pace? Obviously, one of the weekend warriors drives a Formula V car in real life. Very good at the wheel of a Formula V, actually. Highly recommend watching the Weekend Warriors series that she is a part of, and several other drivers. Jimmy Howitt, he is hounding. He is sniffing for a potential B feature win, and Andy Kostick will come out, but he is 1 lap down. So he is just going to have to watch these guys battle this out because he probably doesn't want to interfere with what's happening for the race lead here. Got a little, I think a little too deep in that, well, a little wide in that corner for Howard, just hitting the uneven part of that corner. Now the uphill sweeper, the crest. And
line there.
Now Folk ends up getting a little bit
took
wide.
Off like a kite there. Yeah, they really did. It looked like some air got up underneath the bottom there, and we were kind of mentioning the way you set that one up, and the front end just sort of swung the other way on him, and the front axle went flying the other direction there. Pretty good to gather it up. Didn't really lose a whole lot of time there, but almost threw him into the rhubarb, as I like to say.
Yeah, Well, now Jimmy Howard is the race leader for this B feature, and that's exactly what he was hoping to happen, because I don't think he would have gone around Derek Falk with his pace, because Derek Falk was looking really strong there. But Jimmy Howard's he is doing exactly what you need to do in this car. You have to keep it smooth. You can't just jolt around. You can't just take a corner as hard as you can. You gotta just keep it nice and smooth. Keep the truck, the weight balanced throughout the corners. Get it where it needs to go.
Yeah,
that is the tough part.
Yeah, he does look smooth out there, doesn't he? Looks like he's sort of figured it out. It's not quite as frenetic anymore. You can really tell, right? You were talking about on the run up there, sort of just the way that you're transferring the weight of the truck. And when you're transferring the weight of the truck properly and smoothly, it looks smooth and it looks fast, just like this. If you're bouncing around all over the place and you're trying to correct and you're whapping the gas and the brake and kind of diving into corners and stuff, you see just a perfect amount of preload there. Just snap the truck sideways. So he's got it kind of figured out here. A little bit wide on that one, but that's going to happen from time to time.
Oh yeah, you're going to go wide in these things, but wide isn't, it's not one of those things where wide is slow. Wide can be fast. It depends on what the next corner is.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes you don't even think it's going to be, and then you're like, oh, it was. It's just the way it works out. Yeah.
And he is gapping right now the field. He's 1.7 seconds ahead of Derek Folk, as now Derek Folk just having to just watch this race that was in his hands. He would have been starting in the 5th position in our B feature. Now he's going to be starting in 6th.
Get this Andy Cossack replay here.
Yeah, looking at the replay, we started the race. Andy Cossack on the pole, got out of shape over the jump, just trying to go in too hard, and over the fence he goes. And yeah, you can just see watching onboard. Yeah, he got that truck. He didn't take that jump exactly how he should have.
I have a bit of a theory there. I think maybe if you look here, I think maybe he didn't quite try this line on the outside ever before. And he's coming into that line way outside and kind of realized it just a little bit too late. Like, oh, I'm a little too wide here to make this corner now. And there's kind of truck up my inside. And yeah, it looks like he just kind of got railroaded into the fence there. It's really too bad.
Yeah, a very unfortunate race here for Andy Cossack. He will start last in the A feature up next here. But you can see these guys are just now figuring this out. This is becoming a really good race here as we are on the final lap. Jimmy Howard, your leader. Derek Fulke has now gained 0.5 of a second back to Jimmy Howard. Michelle Lynn in 3rd, Joshua Sushi in 4th, Jason Greider in 5th, Brian Stasinski in 6th, Ethan Orr in 7th, and Andy Cossack is our 8th place runner here. Heading back to our race leader here as they're about to come across the start finish line, I would say, at any point in time. It gets a little wide
around these sometimes, isn't it? Where they are exactly on track. It's so there they are. There's the finish, though.
Yeah,
that's a good
There's the finish line. And there we go. Jimmy Howard wins the B feature, and he will be starting 5th and a main coming up next after a 5-minute warm-up.
Not a bad heat again there. It does look like we're starting to kind of figure out who's got the speed where and so on. I take a quick look at the lap times here that we didn't just before they erased them here. And yeah, you kind of see the split of the field there. So looks like we're going to have, 3 or 4 guys up at the front and then another kind of race in the middle and mid-pack. So we'll see how it goes here. Such a big track, man. You could probably get 30 trucks on this thing, I bet.
Easily. Oh, yeah. Easily. Well, that will bring
wild.
us to... That would be absolutely wild. So that will bring us to our warm-up here for the A feature. It's a 5-minute warm-up for these guys. So they're going to take full advantage as Jake Ham was committing a felony there.
They're already getting into each other here. It hasn't even started. Right out of the pits, he's losing panels. So that's what we like to see in these trucks, though, for sure.
And one thing I want to point out, we always have a lot of viewers watching from all over the United States and all over the world. Just want to make a quick announcement. I hope you guys, if you are in the Arkansas area or anywhere that's currently under a severe weather threat, I hope you all are staying safe out there. I've been tracking that all day today, and There's actually a tornado being formed right now somewhere in Arkansas. So I hope you all are staying safe out there. It's a wide region of severe weather, stretching all the way from Michigan all the way down south to Louisiana and Arkansas. So hope you're all staying safe if you're in those areas. And of course, take us with you if you need to take shelter. So that is currently we're still under our warm-up phase, and we would talk points, but we weren't sent the points, and that makes it kind of difficult to talk about.
It's a little bit difficult. You know what, though? I think maybe Adam's out front somewhere. You know, we'll get some points next week, I think. We do have a pretty good excuse this week for no points. There being a new little one entering the world here, so we'll give him a break on that one. But we should have some points kind of gathered up next weekend. Yeah, that's a good. That's about as good of an excuse as you could get, I think. You know, but he was actually in the chat earlier there too today. So consummate, just sim racing lover, and this place wouldn't be what it is without Adam and the Thompsons there. So huge shout out to them, and we're obviously thinking about them right now. But some pretty beauty shots we're getting here from the scenic cams of this place. I love that bowled out corner, and some of this just kind of undulating and just not something you get to do very often on iRacing, right? You're usually just on the road all the time, and every week I'm getting to do this now, and it just reminds me how awesome these trucks are. I wish they would put more tracks in iRacing. I wish there was more short course fodder so that we could get out there and race a bit more.
Well, it took him forever to get Huset's Speedway, which is one of the premier dirt oval racing tracks in the country. Took them forever to get that into the game, so they're working on it. But talking about our schedule here, Josh, after this we're gonna have a 2-week break, and then we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway in Crandon, if I'm looking at this correctly. April 13th, Atlanta, which
I believe it is, Atlanta Rallycross. So that's going to be an interesting one in Pro 4s. That's
if Wildcats Motorsport Park was as carnage as it was, let's just shove them into a tiny actual short park.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It feels a little small for these big boys, doesn't it? That one.
Yeah, and then we go to Crandon International Raceway, where the Crandon Nationals are hosted to wrap up series number 2. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I hope a lot of people join us, is the series number 3 starting May 18th. We are running the 87 NASCAR, which is a non-restricted engine, very difficult to drive, and we are going around Charlotte, Talladega, Daytona, and Pocono, some of the fastest tracks you could take that car to. So if you are interested, make sure you reach out and get involved with XSLR, because that week is going to be absolutely fun. If we get big enough grids, it just will make the racing so much better, especially at the tracks we are going to. Those are drafting tracks. They're not super difficult tracks, but it's going to be really fun. If you've never driven a stock car on iRacing before, it is one of the best experiences you can do in sim racing. Take it from somebody who races NASCAR and ovals regularly on iRacing. It is the best out there amongst any sim in the sim racing world. So make sure you get on that, and also join us here on the broadcast at Slow Motion Broadcasting. So, well, we are approaching, where are we at? Yep, we are at the checkered flag here for our warm-up, so everybody will be getting ready. So, what is our A feature lineup here, Josh?
Yeah, we should be getting the data here momentarily. That NASCAR thing is going to be just awesome, and here's our grid for us here.
Front row on the pole position, the 160 of Jason Green, and on his outside, Kevin Irwin. Row 2, Jay Cam, Chad Gross. Row number 3, Jimmy Howitt and Derek Folk. Row number 4, Michelle Lynn, Joshua Sushi. And row 5, Jason Greider, Brian Stasinski. Row number 6, Ethan Orr and Andy Kosick. And that is our lineup here tonight in the Lucas Oil Pro 4 trucks of series number 2 of season 9 of XSLR. We're getting everybody gridded up. Again, this, even with 12 cars, this is going to get very interesting, especially with the paces we were seeing. Here we go. Joe Michelin jump start, and we are green. So that will be a penalty for Michelin right off the bat. And here we go to go over the crest. And Jason Green takes the immediate race lead, but Kevin Irwin in tow, as well as Jay Cam, who had an impressive heat race, could have probably won it with without the couple of mistakes that he made. Side by side, further back, Jimmy Howard, Derek Folk, side by side, and now Chad Gross getting in front of Jimmy Howard now, and taking that fourth spot here as we're getting a great look over the really the biggest jump on the course, and everybody just now figuring out side by side, just not making any contact here. And now the racing has begun. You can see Jason Green trying to defend that lead here, gets a little bit sideways here, but he's got three other fast guys in these Lucas Oil Pro 4 trucks, and Kevin Irwin giving the bumper, trying to get Jason Green a little bit rattled there, as Dale Earnhardt would say. And now you can see everybody just spreading out a little bit here, trying to find those additional runs. But again, this is going to be a difficult race to get a good run, especially with how fast the field is currently. Jason Green leads here, lap number 1. You can see everybody also spreading out. Ethan Orr, the 222, currently 5 seconds back from Derek, from the leaders. Jimmy Howard, who has now been shuffled back. He had a mistake somewhere. He's been shuffled back to 8th. As we are looking at a replay of what happened to Jimmy Howard. And
oh my goodness, that is not the line there. I'm actually pretty surprised he got away with that. Look, he's still got 4 wheels on the wagon there, so I mean that's the best you can hope for when you've torpedoed upside down. So
well, then there was a felony be committed, and the victim was Michelle Lynn.
It looked like there was, wasn't there? We'll see if we can't find out. There's a couple replays to get to here. Michelle Lynn looks like Jason Grider had a bit of an issue. Joshua Sushi perhaps had a bit of an issue here. Let's see if we can get down to Michelle Lynn. If we can't see that, just getting mobbed in one of the corners here. I can see Howlett driving over the camera there, wrecking my cameras. And Grider looks like a rejoin kind of to me, and then I believe that's the Winnebago car there. Yeah, unfortunately piling into it. So, yeah, that was a bit of an unfortunate one. See if we can't get a bit of a better view there, maybe from Grider's position here. He's just going to come up on a roadblock here, I think.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is, a roadblock, and just has nowhere to go.
Oh, and then the slide job into him as well. So, yeah, a little bit messy in the back of the field, and man, like we were saying on the run-up, it's really hard. You saw the front few drivers here, and you can see them going through those first corners when they were close, and it's like a dance together. You have to be really, really careful and very mindful of the person beside you. It's basically like if you watch drift racing on TV, that's kind of what you're doing for the first few laps here. When you get near anybody, you're kind of trying to tiptoe around them, not hit them too much, because it disrupts you too.
Well, now the top 3 slowly starting to spread apart, as Jason Green is the class of the field. You can see Kevin Irwin 1.2 seconds back. He is just trying everything now to get to the back bumper of Jason Green. Kevin Irwin at one point was going for the race lead, but it just didn't quite work out in his favor. Jake Ham currently in 3rd, or tailing behind here. But now, everybody pretty much spread out at this point in the race. Not sure if we'll see it much closer, but you never know. Jimmy Howard proved to us that yes, you can take a line that ramps you off a wall.
Looks like we might have another one here. I believe Derek is out of the race, and that right into the bales there. So and then gets collected by Cossack as well. So kind of unfortunate on that one. Let's see if we can't get an onboard. Just taking the wrong line over that blind crest there. So again, trying to set it up a little bit offline here through the grass. Doesn't have the right line. Trying to gather it up. Almost kills the pole. And
he
rips
did
the
not
side of the
even
truck
turn.
off. Yeah. So, I mean, you can see him just trying to gather the truck up there for a full 3 seconds before you get there. And that's kind of what we were talking about. Once you get loose, you're offline. And, man, it's hard to gather it all up. You really got to get that truck woed up, get on that right line.
Well, the gap's come down to 1.3 seconds here for Kevin Irwin, but it's going to be a tough challenge here. It's an uphill climb at this point as Jake Campbell.
Oh, boy. Took a drink at the wrong time there. Almost choked. Jake Ham getting the massive, what do you call that? Just reared up like a horse off that thing. That was a pretty cool shot. Man, these trucks are just so cool. The stuff they can handle is just amazing. Imagine there's a person in there.
Oh, man. He was looking at the ground the entire time there.
He's just staring at the ground. He gathered her up, though. Didn't even lose a lot of time. It looks like he's back on the attack here to Kevin Irwin, so he's found something. You know, it looked to me at the beginning of this like Kevin Irwin had sort of the class of the field. If we take a quick look maybe at some lap times here, and you know, Jason Green getting easily into the 14s now, even close to the 13s, and we got a bit of a touch there for Irwin. Almost climbed him.
Almost climbed him, but gave him the bumper. Now they're side by side. Jake Ham wrestles that position away. So he makes, I would say, almost a very costly mistake, but then takes the second spot. I don't know what happened to Kevin Irwin, if he just went wide somewhere or what, but right now chasing Jake Ham right now, putting on the pace. And go back to those lap times. I want to see who has the fastest lap. I want to say it was Jake Ham, if I remember correctly. No, it is
Jason Green now. Yep. Real close for Jake Ham now, though. They are basically nose to nose.
Oh, boy.
Oh, you see Jake Ham losing it. Just completely lost it there. We'll have to see what happened, but looks like that was kind of maybe on his own.
Yeah, obviously nobody in front of him to have that happen to. He just got sideways, it looks like, and he's not going to lose just one position, but loses two. But here's a replay of what has happened here. Goes over the jump. Another jump. Oh, he hit the berm.
The fringe got him. Yeah, the berm on the inside got him there. So trying to squeeze that little bit of lap time, or maybe even just some track position out of that corner, bit him.
And now he's side by side with Chad Gross.
I think we're back to replay here. Oh yeah, replay. Sorry about that. We'll take one more look.
And got sideways, turned around, and now has to figure out how can I get back straight. Well, there we go. Jake Ham now side by side with Chad Gross. But Chad Gross is really quick around here, I would say. He's been proving it. Takes that wider line through the crest, through the blind crest there, and actually steals the position, I would say, at this point. And now Jake Ham's got to do everything he can. Oh, that was inches. Less than inches.
Some great driving there from Jake Ham for sure. We were mentioning before, it's all about staying off your competitor, really. It's, you know, you get into the official races, everybody's just rubbing each other's panels off immediately, but that's just not fast. You need to kind of stay off people and play that dance like that you're seeing here. Just set that pass up and get it right.
I would be surprised if we see Jake Ham try and rattle the cage of Chad Gross, and he does a little bit, gets his nose in there.
Good call. Whoop. Almost put him into the barriers there. You can see how much just a little tap can really upset the truck. These things are heavy, man, and you know, if you bounce, it gets going in one direction. It takes a whole lot to get it going the other direction, and there is a lot of power under your right foot to do that, but it's still going to take a little bit of time to right that ship from time to time. And you saw that just tiny little tap there, almost put him right into the barrier off the wall there.
Well, Jason Green leading now the field by how many seconds now? 5.8 seconds. He has checked out of this one. He just has to keep it on the track at this point without making a mistake. And he actually has now lapped up to Joshua Sushi at this point. Actually, he's only lapped up to Michelle Lynn. I don't know why our timing tower showing Sushi and Greider being a blue name, which means they were lapped down. They are not a lap down quite yet, but just watching the onboard here of Jason Green, you can just see very smooth Doesn't get too hard on the throttle. Nice landing there. Gets the truck on all fours, nice and easy. You know, and this is how you drive one of these things perfectly. Just need to keep her straight. Totally. Nice corner there. Gets a little bit out of shape. Gets her planted though, and keeps her going. And that's again a prime example as he will come across the start and finish line to start lap number 9 here. So 2 more laps to go here in series number 2 here with the Lucas Oil Pro trucks at Bart River. Jason Green, he gained 2 seconds that last lap. He gained 2 seconds over the field, so he is very quick now. And you can see 114.1. Would love to see him get into the 113, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And liftoff for Jason Green there.
He's been clicking off 114s, just one after another here too. That was the last lap's just up now. That's a 114.7. He's doing 114.4, 114.5. So he's just been clicking them off, looking like a real remote control car out there too. I must say. I used to have I have a couple short course truck remote control cars, and gotta love that green paint job. I have a couple. I have one I call the Green Bastard. I used to win some races with, and his truck's kind of reminding me of that one right now, especially with those hubcaps there and everything. Looks those white rims. Looks a lot like an RC short course truck. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Go back to our battle for second here. Jake Ham and Kevin Irwin have been going to battle here. You can see it's very close now. Jake Ham, he tries to go in for the middle and Kevin Irwin take it out.
Didn't look super intentional there. It's just one of those things. Again, they were kind of getting shoulders into each other, and oh man, that truck is hurting. You have to hit a wall real hard to mess one of these things up, and the cheese truck is looking not so good.
Yeah, the cheese truck in terrible condition here, as he was, I would say, definitely sent into the wall by Jake Ham.
Big time.
Jake Ham, I think. He tried to take that corner. He was just trying to go deep into the corner, try and get side by side here. We look at a replay. You can see Kevin Irwin doing everything he can just to stay in front, takes that line a little bit wider. Jake Ham just sends it into the corner.
Yeah, that was never going to work out, was it?
No, the car was going straight, and Kevin Irwin was turning. So, unfortunate day there for Kevin Irwin, who is looking strong all day today, and unfortunately it ends in disaster here as we are on the final lap here for Jason Green. He will take the checkered flag. Jason Green will win race number 2 of series number 2. Jake Ham will come across the line in second, but I would imagine he will be getting a report and a penalty for that. And Chad Gross in third. Ethan Orr going to have to battle with Andy Kosick, but Kosick not quite close enough. But a good drive there by Kosick. He is our heart. Ethan Orr and Andy Kosick, both our hard chargers, both gaining 7 spots. Jimmy Howlett, rough day for him. Jimmy Howlett.
Unfortunate, yeah. I was expecting more from Howlett there. I think this race, I kind of had him pinned at least in the top 3, I think. And he's going to show us one more time just how rowdy you can get these trucks. And yeah, man, he took off earlier there with that line. I think he just kind of got a little unsighted, and man, that's what can happen. Pretty major crash there.
Yep, major crash there. Joshua Sushi will come home to 7th. Jason Greider in 8th. Brian Stasinski, who is still out there, as we are watching him getting closer to that checkered flag. There is Sushi and Greider across the line, and finally Stasinski across the line. Michelle Lynn in 10th, Derek Folk in 11th, and Kevin Irwin, who did not finish here after a really good run. That is your final results here, pending penalties. But give it up for our boy Jason Greider tonight, or Jason Green, not Greider. Jason Green just dominated the day. Fastest lap, or fastest qualifying lap. Started on the pole in the heat race, won the heat race, and then started on the pole here and went green to checker here tonight. And just an update, if you're not watching chat, Adam is in our chat and says she is on the way. So we're very excited to see another Thompson.
Yeah, Scott. Into the sky there. Hey, that's great news from Adam. There. Awesome, Adam. That's great. On the way. Yeah, couldn't be a better day. Just born on race day, right? That's got to be a sign, I think, for sure. But we got Jason Green here just celebrating by dancing the car around on its nose and on its ass over and over again. And we have some more crashing, I believe, happening here as well. We have Chad Gross just behaving himself here.
He wants no part of this.
He's behaving himself. No, he's decided to keep the truck clean here by the looks. He's just not having it. Jake Ham doing cartwheels. We love burning him down at the end. Let's see if we can't get these points up. What do you think? I have a feeling maybe it's going to work this time. Let's try. So this would be, let's see. I think you know what? I think I've finally figured this out. And I'm going to cross my fingers. And we got some results. There we are.
We got our results after, 6 weeks of not having some
we got her fixed. We have proper results for XSLR. This is that kind of series, as we can see in the background here.
Yeah. Jason Green wins by 9 seconds over Jake Ham. Chad Gross in third. Ethan Orr in the fourth spot. Andy Kosick drives home a fifth place finish after starting last. Jimmy Howard in sixth with Joshua Sushi in seventh. Jason Greider and 8th. Brian Stasinski in ninth. Michelle Lynn in 10th. Derek Fulk in 11th. And Kevin Irwin in the cheese car with an unfortunate end to his race here today. Well, let's get to some interviews here. Josh, I see Jason Green and Jake Ham. They're patiently waiting. So we'll go ahead and bring our race winner here, Jason Green. Jason, you get the trifecta tonight. Fastest lap in qualifying, start on pole in the heat race, win your heat race, and then go straight on the feature tonight. Green to checker without looking back.
Yeah, thanks guys. Finally had a race go my way after some very bad luck the last couple of weeks. So yeah, very happy with how that went.
Well, you got the win tonight. Talk about your pace and just really everything. It just was, I would say, probably the quietest race on the track tonight.
Yeah, I think Kev and Jake were hounding me a little bit. I wasn't quite pulling away from them. They were just kind of chilling like a second, 1.2 seconds back. And then I think they started battling and fell away. But they kept me honest for the first part of the race. But yeah, my pace, all thanks to Adam. He pretty much taught me how to race this track and the track last week. So yeah, all my pace and the win today is pretty much down to him. Hopefully he doesn't watch this, so he doesn't get too full of himself. But yeah. Also want to say my thoughts are with him and Sarah. I hope everything's going good. And yeah.
Well, we were watching your onboard a little bit and watching you run around Bark River here, and it just seemed like you were just so smooth with your inputs and everything. Just, can you give us any tips that Adam gave you for tonight?
Yeah, just in general with this truck, it's kind of counterintuitive because you see people drive in and then like, oh, they're just sliding in everywhere. But in fact, it's really about minimizing the sliding and minimizing the wheel spin out of the tires. So so it might look like you're sliding, but you're really minimizing how much slide you're putting into the car. So it's all about throttle control, especially around here. Throttle control and being in the right gear. So short shifting a lot, just to get as much traction as possible. So the old asphalt road racing adage of slow in, fast out really, really applies here. It's all about the exit.
Well, you did a great job tonight. You got the win. Adam was watching, just so you know, while waiting for his little girl. So you'll have to talk with him more because it seemed like you just absolutely dominated the day.
100%. Thanks, Adam.
Well, congratulations, Jason. And we'll see you in 2 weeks at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Let's go. Thanks, y'all.
Jason Green, our race winner. And then it looks like all we got left is Jake Ham here. who always gives us a great interview. Our second place finisher, Jake Ham, in the broadcast booth here. Jake, not sure if you're going to hold on to that second place or not, but you kind of had a wild race.
Yeah, it's a lot of mistakes and just sloppy driving. It's unfortunate. Feel bad for Kevin there at the end. I mean, I went in for the move and I didn't think I hit him that hard to disable his truck. Like, I mean, I feel horrible about it, but as of right now, second place, it's good, but definitely doesn't feel good.
Well, you kind of did send Kevin into a wall. That's what did him in. So, but you really you went to battle today. You had to really race your way into the A feature tonight and from the heats and then it just wasn't over. You had a couple of instances where you got a little bit sideways tonight, got that truck unsettled. But you raced your way back into a fight with Kevin. I mean, that is impressive driving there. A couple of times we saw you looking at the ground a little bit, thinking that truck is going to flip. But just talk about the skill needed for this truck.
It's really difficult. I mean, to be honest, like you should come in probably with more than 15 minutes of practice type of thing. And this particular track is all about drifting, keeping it under control, having low revs throughout the corners. And you have to be, super committed to each and every turn, before you send it in there. And it's sometimes just really hard to get set up. And I think I got some damage at the beginning, or when I got spun around there, my back left, I just feel like it wasn't holding on as well, in some of the turns after I got spun around there. But it's definitely a challenge. And these are my least favorite I think of the series outside of the dirt sprints that we just got done doing. And so at the end of the day, I thought it was okay, but I still feel really bad.
Well, a second place finish, again, that's pending potential penalties. We don't want to give everybody the impression that, that this result was set in stone, but some good driving out there tonight, Jake. Anybody you want to thank for the racing tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, Slow Motion Broadcasting, love to go back, watch it through. Any of the friends, family that are watching, I appreciate them stopping by, watching. And I appreciate Kevin for not screaming at me. And then Mike Browning, he's the one that paints up my schemes on the truck, makes it look fly. And that's who I got. Oh, and then hold on. The most important person of this whole event, people, is Adam and Sarah. Huge shout out to them. And I don't even know if we're supposed to talk about it, but I'm sure they're watching because they're huge fans of me. They are
they're out there.
They're gonna be popping a little one out here soon. I got 4 of my own, and I am super pumped for them to experience this, to spend tons of money, to go through all the things and experience it. I'm excited for Adam to cry. I'm excited for Sarah to scream and yell at Adam about it. Just everything in general. Like, I'm super pumped and excited for him. Hope it goes swimmingly well. And thanks so much for coming and watching the broadcast to watch me, guys. I appreciate it from the hospital. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Jake. And we'll see you in 2 weeks at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yes, sir.
Jake Ham, our second place finisher here. Well, that was quite an eventful race there, Josh. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Really like to see these trucks kind of get let loose on a big track like this. The other track, it's okay. It's not really my favorite, though. I really like these big ones like this where you can really let it rip and really step on the gas. And we got to see a bunch of that today there, from a bunch of the drivers as well. Some kind of highs and some lows and stuff, too. So, yep, I really love these trucks, man. I can't wait till the next round. I really can't wait for Crandon. I may even try to get in that one if they'll allow me to do it. But we'll see how that goes. My back's absolutely destroyed right now, so I won't be in the rig for a while anyway. But we definitely want to, yep, go ahead.
if they allow you, I'm not allowing you. I need somebody to, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We'll see if we can't just squeeze me out there. We'll see what happens, but we definitely want to pair the sentiment there of Jake as well for Adam and Sarah. We're rooting for you guys, and
Yep.
pretty awesome stuff. So I'll hand her off to you, man. You can close her up.
All right. Well, that will do it here for us tonight. What is upcoming here at Slow Motion Broadcasting? Well, quite a bit. Every Tuesday night, we currently have the American Muscle Series. If you like watching Matt Malone on Twitch, well, come watch him not wreck a Mustang here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. That's 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday night. Then on Wednesdays, we have the Ray Esports Club Racing League at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then the Sim Racers Group at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time now. And then our final way to wrap up your weekend, well, it's Saturdays at 3:20 p.m. Eastern with the Weekend Warriors with the Formula V, and then the Formula Ford on Sundays at 1:45 p.m. Eastern. And then we end the Weekend Warriors at 3:45 p.m. on Sundays with the Spec Racer Ford. So lots of broadcasts as well. And then, of course, you can end your Sunday night with us here on Slow Motion Broadcasting with the XSLR, currently in the Lucas Oil Pro trucks. And we will be back in 2 weeks at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Josh, great work again on the production and your help with the commentary. Of course, Adam and Sarah, we wish you luck, and we hope we hear a little one next week on the broadcast. We're very excited for you too, and of course, for all of you who are watching this, this broadcast is not able to happen without you guys watching from home. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We absolutely appreciate all of the support here, and also hit that notification bell so you know whenever Slow Motion Broadcasting is live. Well, for everyone here at Slow Motion Broadcasting, my name is Adam Thompson, and we'll say good night here from Bark River.